election is another milestone. As I borrowed CG's statement earlier, and it's based on great expectations that the people of this country have of GRA. And so we are here inaugurating this massive edifice that was wholly and solely financed by GRA subvention. I think that is commendable. We have not gone back to the ministry and asked for extra money. This is solely and wholly funded by our subvention. Thank you, CG and his team. Thank you very much. And so this is going to ease congestion. It's also going to improve service delivery and increase performance. And of course, by extension, create a room for staff retention. Some people leave because they don't have the facilities and the wherewithal, the tools to work with, but GRA is creating that room across the country. This is not just at the headquarters. If you go to Caribbean and elsewhere, and plans are afoot for other places, so kudos. Thank you very much. Now I will invite I consulted with CG, so we have already prayed earlier, and that prayer is conveying us and accompanying us and taking us through. So we will now invite a statement by the contractor or his representative. Contractor is General Procurement Services. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. MC. The Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Mr. C.D. Getter, the Chairman and members of the Board of Directors of the Gambia Revenue Authority, the Commissioner General and the senior staff of the authority, the Director General of Gumworks, Mr. Gay, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I bring you greetings from the management and entire staff of the General Procurement Services. And I want to complete that greeting with the words in Arabic, Assalamu alaikum. It was some time back. Incidentally, my name is Matar Jai, and I am here to represent Mr. Lamin Sedi Khan, who is the Managing Director and the Chief Executive Officer of General Procurement Services. Mr. Sedi Khan expresses his regrets that he cannot be here today, and I am honored to represent him. So I will read the statement on his behalf. Thank you very much. It was sometime back in early January of 2020 when this construction site was handed over to the General Procurement Services for the construction of a modern complex to replace the old structure that used to be here. That old structure, though was one of the remaining landmarks of the colonial buildings in Banjul, was no longer fit for purpose to serve the magnitude of work that the authority is generating, and therefore needed an overhaul. In March 2020, the General Procurement Services commenced work on this site, and Mr. Sedi Khan is speaking now, and I am proud to report that by March 2020, we were ready with the work. In that regard, I want to take this opportunity to thank my able team for such a wonderful job done that was time-driven and done efficiently. I am proud of my team in the office, which comprises of various professionals in various fields of expertise, always working with diligence and supported by a wonderful staff that is caring and responsive. I want to say that as I stand here before you this morning, this is Mr. Sedi Khan speaking, I am proud of the work of my team to have been able to secure the contract at that time after a successful bid was done, timely and professionally submitted. I was personally excited with this opportunity as it brings back memories of my association with this building. that used to house at one time two separate entities called, there were two separate statutory departments, the Custom and Excise Department and the Income Tax Department respectively. And I believe for those of us who grew up in Banjul, we do remember this place. Thank you. Memories of the old building remain dear to my heart. As it was here where I began my work experience as a civil servant after completion of my high school education. Again, it's Mr. Serikan speaking. It gave me a good foundation upon which I developed myself to where I am today. Honorable Minister, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, when we embarked on this journey, our primary consideration was to ensure that I want to use this occasion, therefore, to congratulate the authority and to commend the management of the Gambia Revenue Authority for this laudable initiative, whose ultimate beneficiaries are the staff and the customers that will visit the building for business. At this time, it may be worthy to mention that this magnificent edifice that we are about to open formally consists of 3 floors. The ground floor, we have 4 offices, 6 cubicles, a reception, and an open space. The 4th floor, we also have 4 offices, 6 cubicles, a conference hall, and an open space. And the 2nd floor, we have 4 offices, 2 offices for secretaries, and a conference hall. This is a beautiful building that will complement the work of your authority and enhance the landscape of Banjul, which is undergoing its own renaissance in our new Gambia. To our collaborators in this endeavor, the consulting engineers, the Gambia Public Procurement Authority, the senior management of GRA, and Gamboas, we want to thank you for your support and for the confidence you have demonstrated in us to undertake such an important project. We are confident and hopeful that this building, which was built for purpose, will stand the test of time to outlive several generations of its current users and clients. I thank you for your attention and wish you all a day full of Allah's blessings. Assalamu alaikum. I would like to also say that I am accompanied by the project engineer for the site, Mr. Abdullahi Buba, and the site supervisor, Mr. Marut Ndao. And we are also accompanied by Mr. Funding Fofana. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Mr. Sidikeda, and your Permanent Secretary, Mr. Abdullahi Jallo, my boss, the Chairman of the Board, the Chairperson of the Board of GRA, Ms. Rosifa Jan, the Commissioner General, Mr. Yankutadalo, and management and staff of GRA. My speech is not going to be long because Mr. Njai has done the heavy lifting for me and give the background to the building. So I'll be brief and talk about our relationship with GRA, which goes more than a decade. It's been a long-standing relationship that dates back to our first DMC in 2010. And that was for the rehabilitation of the 5 sheds, the stores on the other side of the complex. And this was followed by 2 other DMCs, one for the construction of the 1st floor of the main building, and the other was for the Carnifing Annex, both in 2016. And this is the annex to the 11th house, and as we called it during the assessment, the old customs building. And the DMC was signed in 2019. And this is not the end, because we have also signed again another DMC for Farrakhan. So I guess we have been a good, so much, sorry. I guess the relationship has been good all along. And this contract was supposed to be only 2 floors, the ground floor and the first floor. But during the design and subsequent to the construction, the idea was to add another floor. So we moved from a $13 million a contract to a $20 million a contract. And to add to that, we cannot finish the building without this building looking nice also. So we have to do the pavement, paint this building, make the whole area, do the parking shed, and make this place look better. And I will attest that all of these things were coming from the CG himself and not the staff, because he was seeing far more than just the building. He was seeing the whole complex. I'm saying this to say we are here, Gunworks, to provide these services for government. Most of the time, people do not understand how to work with us, but I guess the CG knows how to work with us and have been working with us for all these years. And we're here to provide these services. We can do more. And with the support of the Minister of Finance, I must say, because they have been the ones, particularly my boss, the Foreign Secretary, encouraging sectors, departments to use our services for effective and efficient delivery. Like I said, my speech is not going to be long. Mr. CG, Chairperson of the Board, we thank you for the opportunity, and we hope, apart from summer, to do more business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gay. More money, more business. At this stage, I have the singular honor once again to invite the Commissioner General, under whose leadership we have seen a lot of transformation, a lot of changes, a lot of development in GRA, and so he has the authority as head of institution morally to say better things than me on this platform. Commissioner General, please.
Whenever I hear them play, I feel very good. I told the minister, I like that song. Thank you, the MC, Usman Ba, once again. I want to start by doing the recognizing the formal protocols, as we just came from the other side. I don't want to call all the names, but just to say that Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, the other ministers that are here, my colleagues, directors, service chiefs, other heads of institutions, board members, my able deputy Issa Jallo, Madam Rohidabo, the Communist Active Minister of Defense, and Director of Annex, the contractor, GPS, and all other invited guests, including the press. I am saying Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to you all. On behalf of the board and management and staff of the Gambia Revenue Authority, I would like to welcome you all to the formal opening of the Revenue House Annex. The Revenue House Annex was conceived sometime in mid-July 2017 when management intended to create two new departments, HR and Admin, Legal and Board Services, as well as restructure and rename management services to Enterprise Risk Management Reform and Modernization. We decided to do this because in consultations with our development partners, the IMF, the World Bank, there was a need for us to create a new department called Enterprise Risk Management Reform and Modernization. So that particular department is responsible for all the risks associated with the institution as well as our reforms that we are undertaking. So that was the time we decided to come up with this idea of having a two-story building over here. The building that is just behind me here was the old sales tax building, and it was here since colonial days. We thought we need an extra office space, and therefore that building was no longer fit for the use, and that was the time we decided that we need to have a two-story building here. This major decision, which was guided by a critical and a thorough review of the authority's organogram and structure in view of the ongoing anticipated reforms and modernization, meant the recruitment of the additional staff. Conscious of the fact that the space needed accommodate anticipated additional human resources in Revenue House was not there, management was prompted to venture into this multi-million dollar Revenue House project. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is with great sense of pride to inform you that constructions, furnishing and equipping of this elegant and modern office complex was 100% funded from our subvention in the tune of $22 million. You may wish to know that this was made possible because we had to take very difficult but necessary decisions by having to significantly cut or even forego certain budget lines to realize this project. It is also worthy of mention that management was fully involved in the design of the building by reviewing the drawings, proposing add-ons and adjustment. This was indicated to you by the Managing Director of GAMWorks. From the beginning, we are involved. Anything that they do, they consult management and we give them our ideas how we want this building to be and how many spaces we want inside the building until we reach the final decision. And thank you very much, GAMWorks, for listening to us. In fact, the original design was for a two-story building, as we said earlier on, but management eventually opted for a two-story building, including an external stairs case to serve as an emergency exit. That is just behind the building over there. We thought it is very important to have the external stairs. In case of any emergency, people can use that place to exit. Following the approval of the project by the board, management opted for a delegated management contract with GAMWorks to design, contract out and supervise the work. Following the evaluation of the bidders by GAMWorks in December 2019, GPS was awarded the contract and duly notified to commence work with effect from 22nd January 2022. The completed building was handed over to management on 22nd March 2022. The annex whose alcalo is going to be the DCG, my able deputy and head of domestic taxes. Where he is stationed right now in the main building is a very small office, but he managed to be in that office waiting for the best time. And when this idea came, it was a two-story building that we said. I thought it is really not fair for my DCG, who is very important to me, to he said in that. I decided to get him an office here, but now I'm getting jealous because his office is far better than my office.
So now I'm thinking of Honorable Minister to change so that he comes there, I come over here. So this, my deputy will stay here with the rest of the staffs,
And this building can accommodate or adequately conducive working environment for more than 45 staffs, with the room to accommodate more. The ground floor will house the Legal and Board Services Department and the Procurement Unit. The first floor will house Enterprise Risk Management, Reform and Modernization Unit, a meeting room, Credit Union Office, while the second floor will house the Office of the DCG, the Office of the DC and Head of Domestic Taxes. The new boardroom will also be there. Interestingly enough, now I have to come over to DCG rather than he coming to me. That's why I'm trying to change my mind. I should come over here rather than me coming from that building to here. So he should be coming to me.
but as the nature made it, now we have to move because we have a new boardroom here. You will see it later when we go for the tour of the building. Internal Affairs Unit, Corporate and Public Affairs Unit. All these offices, board and meeting rooms are leveled, fully furnished and ready for use. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to use this opportunity to extend our sincere gratitude to the management of GAM Works through its managing director. And not forgetting Mr. Ibrahim Acham and Mr. Fafanding Fofana, former Director General and Project Manager respectively, for the partnership and for ensuring that quality was not compromised in this particular work. Our appreciation also goes to GPS as the contractor for an excellent job and sometimes going beyond the contract terms to address certain needs. A big thank you to the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Permanent Secretary, to the Minister of Finance. We are very grateful, as well as for the support all the time given to GRA throughout, be it the project, this building, all other things that we are always getting assistance from Minister of Finance. GRA is directly under the Minister of Finance. We are autonomous, yes, but we are answerable to Minister of Finance. And most of the time when we need help, that is where we go. They give us the support necessary. So we are very grateful, Permanent Secretary and Minister. Thank you for your continuation. I'm profoundly thanking the Board of Directors, past and present, past and present. I say past in the sense that our board has a limited terms. When you serve it 2 terms, by act you have to go. And the work in the country is continuation. Nobody can finish the work. Those who were there before, they work very hard, but because due to their time limit, they have to retire. And then we have the new board in. So the works that we are doing is like a continuous process, and that is why I am grateful to the past board members as well as the new board members for the support they are giving to the leadership of GRA. I am indeed grateful and thankful to Allah that this day, an event which seems only a dream a few years ago, has come to fruition. With a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction on today's milestone, we look forward to the successful completion of our next project. I sincerely thank the organizing committee under the leadership of Mrs. Matinjai Senghor for an excellent work they have done. At this point in time, Honorable Minister, if you may give me 2 minutes, I would like to call the organizing committee to come in front so that you can greet the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs. Mr. Matinjai, can I have you? Luis Drame, can I have you please on the floor? Luis A. Drame, Mohamed, Marina, Joyce Sinyang, Babu Kanjai, Mbaya Sedikan, Adam Sisi, Malain Sali, Samba Kamara, Mawia Jami, and Subhana Boja, Tijan Gay, Ushinu Chari, Awanjai, Ndaiba, and finally Lamin Ba. I guess I have all of you. So these are the people who are behind the success of this program, this one and the one we did. They are the organizing committee, and for the past weeks they have been working very hard. As you know, it's not easy to organize a program. They have been here sometimes till midnight. They are here sometimes till 1 o'clock. Yesterday I came here around 12:30, and I found everybody on the ground. We are preparing for a successful program today. Honorable Minister, please can you shake hand with them? These are my giant client people. So the minister will say hello to you. Yeah. Yes, I want to have a great meet. Habib, it's really a great pleasure to have you here. One thing I want to say, GRA management, top senior management, including the board, we put top priority in giving our staffs accommodation of spaces all over the country. This is one of the office spaces that we are going to officially open by the Honorable Minister. We intend to have already signed a contract with Downworks for another story building in Jarasoma. We hope that one will also be ready soon, and then you will all be invited to come and open. And we are not stopping there, but we have plans to have, as the Downworks MD was saying, Parafene, yes, we have plans to build another other story buildings there. We have plans to build as well as in Basse. So these are all on the pipeline, but we always want to work with Downworks. We don't want to take the trouble of building. It is very difficult for us to do it by ourselves because the demand is too much. But whenever we go through Downworks, they become the interface between us and the contractors. And because that is their core mandate, they can do it better. And then we will concentrate on our core mandate, and that is the revenue collection. And all of you know that we are doing our utmost best on that. And because you are seeing the figures, I'm sure Honorable Minister will agree with me that we are doing our utmost best in doing the revenue collection. And we are collecting billions. So that's not a secret at all. So we want to lead the building side with Downworks, so that from this one we are going to Soma. From Soma we are going to Farafeni. From Farafeni we are going to Basse. Now this is what we can do, and these things will outlive us because we will all retire one day, but these buildings will be here for hundreds of years to come. So as a leader, this is what I think the best thing to do for the country. You try to make structures. Within your institutions, you put up a leadership that will see the future. You put up structures in terms of office buildings, and you equip them, you train your staff. At the end of the day, that is what the country will benefit, because people will come and go. We will all retire one day, and we leave the young ones like Issa Jallo, and the rest will stay here. So we are all getting old now, so pretty soon we'll retire. But before that time, we will do our utmost best to make sure that we put our foot on the ground, to make sure that GRA stay as one of the most important and significant institutions in this country. And on that note, I want to seize this opportunity to once again thank you all, and I'm sure the MC will come and we'll start to have cut a ribbon, and then we'll have the story of the solitude of the building. Thank you, and thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, CE. Invite the Honorable Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs to give us a statement and also lead us to the building by cutting the ribbon, and then we proceed for inspection. Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, the chairperson, Gambia Revenue Authority, the Director General Government Revenue Authority, senior government officials here in present, and once again, it's my pleasure to, within a space of one day, inaugurate another milestone in the annals of the history of GRA. And I don't want to sound as if I'm motivated to praise the management of GRA, but we should be honest and call a spade a spade. We should call things what they are. When you call me Lamin, I will not answer. My name is Sid. So when we see good, we should celebrate it. What I see here is a classical demonstration of foresight of the GRA board and management. I have been taking cue of the management style of GRA. They've interacted and they know where their core competence lies. And that's where leadership comes in. You cannot do it all. From the technology aspect of the Aspuda wall, they partnered with GAMTEL, the national telecommunication carrier. And that is a long step forward towards revitalizing our telecom sector. Come to the construction of their office building Annex. They once again partnered with the premier institution of GAMWorks. And that is their core competence of GAMWorks. And the organizing committee, comprising of young professionals, ably represented by the female folks. We just want to see women in the management. The chairperson is a lady. So they got it right in a number of areas. And I think GRA is a model that other government institutions should emulate. And we should look on GRA what they've got right. Because while other institutions are struggling, in these trying times, we see them thrive. And in this day and age, it's no longer the most able, but the most adaptable. And adaptability means ability to copy. And there's no pride here. So I look forward to other public institutions to really understudy what GRA has that makes them tick. On that note, I single-handedly, delightfully express my delight once again to inaugurate this fabulous and magnificent building. And thank you to the contractors, GPS, and thank you to all the relevant stakeholders that have been involved in this enterprise. Thank
Cameras will come. Someone help the minister. Joyce. Wow. Let's clap for
When we will start here, Honorable Minister. So this is going to house the procurement unit, as well as we have also a credit union.
Okay.
Yes, so this is the open space for additional staff. The deputy director.
Walk slowly.
Then you have an office for the manager. Then these are toilets, two toilets. And the emergency exit and the city was talking about. Yes, they can easily go out this way. So we have two toilets, two for male and two for female. All right. The minister coming. Yes. And this is the office of the director. Yes. And that's the office of the director's office. Yes. Yes, definitely. They did a very good job here.
It's a smart one. I got it from.
Good.
Well, is this my office?
But this is all between the entire floor, left, right, it's all between.
This is the next floor. So that's the after one. Maybe you want to show him your office. It's a replica of that other one. Honorable, it's a replica of that other one. Honorable Minister, this is the office of the director. Yes. Similar to the one that is standardized. Okay. Yes.
It's to have everything inside. He's the head. Like the deputy director. He's running the house. Mr. Baez. We'll worry. Also is the deputy director. Dealing with the integrity issues. Yes. Exactly. so-called staff that are involved in corruption, staff that are in misconduct, misappropriation of funds. So the district office is responsible across the country. Anytime we have drop boxes, you can come and get information, but you don't want your name to be seen. Drop it in the box. We correct that by what? When we see that also related to him, he will get informed by the Spirit. And then he will face a committee that will discuss with them, and then they will tell the person to write and explain why so and so action. And based on the explanation, the disciplinary actions can be taken based on the staff service. So that's why we created this office. We decided by internal reviews and outside.
I think this is such an important role. Dissemination of its function is very needed. Because every time people tend to quote unquote associate you with corruption, you have done a lot towards fighting that. So people got to know what efforts and actions management has taken to really deal with that. And it will really help us in our anti-corruption drive as a government. And we don't only are saying it, but we have structures. We have procedures, we have people manning functions to actually address them. So this is a big thing. I think really, we were very impressed. I say,
we are going to move over here. Let's move in.
That's what he's saying.
even the secretary's office is good enough.
And you see the crowd just for visitors. Honorable, you are welcome. Welcome. He has
I'm sorry. But let me sit over there.
Bless you. This one is funny. Yes.
Wonderful.
Welcome to this office.
No, CG. Don't worry. Before you sit down, sit on his chair. You don't have the
So how long you want He even has a balcony. Has a store. I can hold meetings inside. At least I can accommodate a meeting for 6. Yes. Inside. Yes.
Everything you can use it for breakfast. Everything.
What was the draft law introduced just to cater for you?
You see? Yes. What it is? He still needs to move for the cook's meal.
Yes.
He has fully compensated me now.
We're very happy.
Here, Madam Chair, she said it's an incentive for you to work harder.
The homework is given what is we have no doubt. Always been delivered.
Well, CG, yes, this is really a tremendous occasion.
Yeah.
It demonstrates once again your leadership style. And one thing I know is from end to end.
Yes.
Not only are you catering for the retirees,
Yes.
but you are feeding through with young professionals,
Oh, yes.
talented
Yes.
from university.
Yes.
And that's a step in the right direction. And I think really we need to. I think that's one culture we need to build.
Yes.
When we see good, let's celebrate it.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
promote it. Let's acknowledge it. Just how many
They want to
exactly.
whenever something good happens,
Yes.
they want to look at
Yes. No.
It shouldn't be like that.
So,
You know,
so,
it
so
should be
really,
the
we should celebrate
reverse.
success.
Celebrate
You know,
good things.
that we should really
Yes.
promote.
Yes.
When we see good, we acknowledge it, we
Yes.
celebrate it.
Yes.
You know.
Because
Similarly-
good things don't come that easy.
No.
You have to work behind the scenes.
Honorable Minister.
Work that is involved before
Honorable
you see
Minister,
what-
Yes.
you know we are out of the system now,
Yes.
but I can witness certain things and I think I have to say. We normally have issues here.
Yes.
This man will make us stay until 1 a.m.
Yes.
to solve those issues. He is that kind of a leader. He would mobilize everybody will be in that boardroom till 1 a.m. If we don't solve it, we don't go home.
Including Zainab.
No, I mean-
Zainab.
3 a.m.
Yes. You'll be in the office. If I'm giving
Work
a
to
task,
finish.
I'll make sure that
Work to finish.
even if it takes and all the staffs will get cooperate. We all stay.
So I'm not surprised with this. Not really
So
surprised.
really, it's good. I always take that leadership, but also I have the respect of the staff. The team always gave me support.
I'll take a leaf from your book.
When he walks in the morning,
Yes.
he greets everybody. Yes. From the security team, yes. And how everyone is. You don't know
Yeah, that's a tradition.
their problem, and sometimes address them there and then. So it's like, you know, he has identified himself with the staff, and that is why he tell me more. Everybody comes. That's all, you know.
Mohammed, and the food.
So that's one thing about
Mohammed,
I hope
and the
it's not
lunch.
getting the gas away with
There was a time I came for one meeting, I was on time. So I came to the office and asked Mariano, where's he? He's still doing his round. No problem, that's good. Great.
Yeah, it's just like the doctors, when they come, they have to go around all the places. That's what he does. Yeah, he goes on his rounds.
The reason why I do that, Honorable, is when you are up there as a minister or you are there as the commissioner for development, a lot of staff don't have access to you. So not because they want to talk to you, they want to see you, but because of the protocol. We have a lot of layers, senior officer, manager, deputy director, director. So that layers are there. So they don't have that close contact with you. So sometimes it's good you go to that level. Meet them in the offices. How are you doing? Hope everything is fine. And then you check one or two things that are not important. Just take them over. You know, when you do it, it's like you're giving $1 million to someone. It touches their heart, and they will go extra mile to do things that you don't do. But if you are detached to your staff, they just do whatever they want to do. They don't even care what happens because they feel you are up there, they are down, so there is a complete detachment between you and them. So in there, they don't give their best. If they know that this is a guy who cares about us, our welfare is always been taken care of. So they can go that extra mile to do anything for you. And that's the kind of sense of, they have sense of belonging. That really our leader loves us and he cares about us. And they all know that whenever it comes about their welfare, they always go that extra mile to make sure that they defend it. I always ask them one thing, make sure that whatever you are doing, let it be professional so that I can defend you. Don't do something that I cannot defend you. Well, thank God, you know, so far so good. They're doing their best. Another thing that makes our success is the development of human resources. I will tell you, the olden days of customs and central government
department. You don't even have more than 3 or 4 graduates in each of these departments. In fact, I even increased the number, not even 2 graduates or so. The whole of Central Revenue Department, that is the income tax. The same thing applies to the customs. Aliu Isia is an old school, attest to that. But when we came in, with the GRA setting, we kind of revolutionized everything. And we saw them that the young ones, you must be educated. If you want to develop this place, you must go to school. And I open doors for them. We make sure that when we are doing the budgeting, we budget enough for undergraduate programs. And those who finish their undergraduate, they try to have their masters outside. We kind of give them the support, yes. Maintain their salary, and then we budget something like $600 to support them during the course of their programs. And we also try to get out to look for the best brains outside of GRA in different disciplines, and we try to bring them in. Once they join the team, they become players, and that is what we do. That is what we do. As we speak today, we have more than 150 graduates. From barely 2 or 3 graduates, now we have more than 150 graduates in all disciplines for that matter. If you go to IT, we have series of boys there now, young ones. If you go to the legal department, you have more than 6 qualified lawyers that are there. If you go to the accounting section, the audit, our internal audit, we have more than 3 ACCA holders and upcoming ones. You go to the finance department, the same. You go to the tax department, staffs with more than 3-4 ACCA and bachelor. You go to even the customs now, you have lawyers there. Customs department, you have them already there. They are trying to do their part. Some of them are going to school. You go to the HR, you develop experts. I think we have more than 5-6 masters holders there. Based on their
this is being used by the international organizations.
Yes,
to see our
and most of the time what happens now, our dealings with this other development partners, they always come to get human resources from us. And then we will always allow some of our staff to go and then be as lecturers in there, for a period in a particular field. I think Swaziland,
yes.
I just received a letter this morning. They want us to sign an MOU so that our HR department will go and help them assist them in the development of their HR reforms. So I just received that letter just not long ago. And then the IMF as well used to ask for assistance from us. Mostly I said yes and there in terms of taxation, taxation in certain areas. I remember also Yaya is being used a lot in tobacco taxation reforms. Because the tobacco reforms, Gambia becomes one of the best countries. A couple of years ago, we used to collect the revenue based on weight. Like the weight of a container is about 5-6 years ago. And if you look at the weight, people can manipulate the weight. So we used to have like a 40-feet container, 1.5 million. So in consultations with WHO, they take us to metrics that indicate that instead of using the weight to calculate, why don't you calculate the stick? So when we looked at it and we did the calculation, it sounds good. Then Kuli was the Minister of Finance and Economics. So we approached him and we showed him all the calculation. We saw him the difference. At the time, if you use the stick, the same container will have almost $8 million as opposed to 1.5. So he said, is this possible? I said, yes, it's possible. The only thing is we'll have resistance, but don't worry, we are used to that. And the following budget speed we introduced collection of revenue on tobacco based on sticks, not on weight. The reaction from the tobacco importers was, we will stop importing it. It's too expensive, we will not do it. But this is their life, cannot stop. But when they stop, what are they going to do?
The demand is also there.
The demand is there. Cigarette smokers, whatever the price is, they will buy. So anyway, what happened, temporarily, they have to suspend, reduce the volume. If you used to bring 10 containers every month because it's very cheap, 1.5 million. Now you cannot afford that. For one container is now almost 8 million. So they reduce it drastically. But that is good because the more cigarette you have in the market, the more our children will be involved in smoking. Because it's affordable. Even $10 you can have a packet at those days, $5. But now the duty is so expensive that you know the packet will, I don't smoke, but it's going very high, very expensive. So the young ones cannot afford it. But what we drive, the lesson we drive there is to the revenue has increased more than 50%, and the volume also has reduced more than 50%. The volume that comes in, and it is everywhere because it's affordable. That has reduced, and that has translated to health benefits. Because Minister of Health also don't want to have too much cigarette in the market because it's not good for people's health. So we are able to achieve the health benefits as well as the revenue benefits. But as we go along, you know, they accepted it. So these are the kind of things that we do. But I'm sure in due time, when we think of new ideas, what we want to bring in to help the revenue of the country, we'll approach you, you know, and then we'll discuss it. So the idea is born and it will be part of the budget speak and we come up. And certainly this, we have been doing this kind of things, including the Lancings. The Lancings also, in the past, everybody goes to the police end of the year, January, February, March, to pay your Lancing, your road tax, your car parking. And I remember the whole budget that the Ministry of Finance will put on the budget line will be around 3 million for the whole year. But when we introduce that new system, it's like we put a $1 on the price structure. This $1 is divided, 25 goes for road tax, 25 goes for Lancing, and 50 goes for car parking. It's just a $1. But it turned out to be like average 10 to 15 million a month compared to $3 million. 3 million per year. Now on a monthly basis you have 10 to 15 million.
But you have also saved the printing cost. But then we used to print those
exactly.
And they would go and forge them and put them
One of these Nigerians in the market, within the 3 months, they will start printing they distribute to the drivers. Before 3 months, all the vehicles in the Gambia have Lancing. So we will have our printing books. We cannot do anything. But now, with this one, how can you copy this? There is no cost involved.
Unless if they can produce petrol.
And it's consumption tax.
It's consumption tax, exactly. You only pay when you consume. You know, and then it's more towards what the road usage of the road. So, and this comes to everybody's benefit. So sometimes some good ideas, you bring them, we fuse them into the system, it can bring great ideas. So those are kind of things that we do in general here. And inshallah we'll continue to have that working relationship and have that positive thinking in terms of what can we do to improve the revenue base of the country, what can we do to make sure that you know, we bring everything on the table. Those are the kind of things, that's why you have all of them. You know, in terms of governance, we meet regularly every month, without fail. The board meets, even during the COVID, we meet on virtual. We will have our computers, and the board subcommittees also meet every month. Both finance and accounting and staff and establishment. And the top management also will meet regularly on a monthly basis. Then we have senior management also meeting. Then we have departments. By the way, we have about 7 departments. And this department, they all have their core mandate. And we have the professionals that are there, starting from the 2 operational departments. And that is why yesterday I was interviewed by these people. The American face online this thing. So we were talking about GRA and most of them they said custom. I said, GRA is not customs. GRA is bigger than customs. Custom is just one department in GRA. So because you people have gone, you are away for too long. So you are not custom is just one department. Out of 7 departments that we have the customs department responsible for international trade. We have the domestic tax department responsible for the internal revenue collection. We have the HR and admin. Then we have the enterprise risk management, reform and modernization, and then including the IT. Then we have the legal department now. We have the technical service department. I think those are the same.
Internal audit. Finance and accounting.
Finance and accounting. So we kind of have this specialization. The domestic tax officers are more concentrated on assessment. They have the system. They assess you. Normally we have what the kind of taxation we have in Gambia is a self-assessment, both for customs and domestic. You, for example, custom, you got your goods. You know the price better than me. So I expect you to give me the correct invoice. So because I was not there when you were buying it. So you tell me how much you bought it. Submit your things and send us the bill. We look at it, of course we have a baseline, what we call reference value. Yes. So that if you submit something that is below that, this system will not allow you to proceed. Yes. We set up the Asikuda system, this Asikuda one, so that if we say that our minimum charges for a 4-wheel drive is $66, you want to do declaration below 66, the system will not allow you to go. No, it will not allow you to go further. It will block you until you adjust that. But if you want to pay us more, we said no problem. So that's what we do. So you can now assess, do your declaration, you do your assessment, you pay as long as you are above our minimum value. You have no problem. So that's how we do. And likewise, the domestic tax. You are the business, you own your business. Assess yourself, tell us how much you need to pay for the year. We will happily receive it. However, we have what we call tax audit department. Our tax audits will now time to time review those files. If they realize that what you have assessed is far below expectation, then they will write to you, and then you will be expected to be audited. And then when you are audited, whatever you find there is your own fault.
You know, the national audit will also do their audit. That's just what we do internally. But national audit will also come and they do their own sampling and audit without us having to control anything that they do. And even in the customs, like the CG has said, it is self-assessment, but the controls are there. We have the whole post clearance, audit unit, that after transactions and everything is closed, they can go after these people to check. So that is why the law is making it mandatory that they keep their records for a minimum of 6 years for the tax and also for customs also similar arrangement. That is just to open it, because with self-assessment there are risks. They can just come up with all sort of things. But like the CG has said, even those reference values, they are well researched. You look at the different destinations where these consignments are coming from. You look at particularly what it costs to transport these goods and other market fundamentals, so that they just don't. So this kind of environment, if we don't have the necessary controls, it can be very serious. And this country depends on the revenues that are mobilized from the taxes.
I can remember CG during this reference line.
Yes.
Remember when we called Martha.
Yes.
Yes. Like you are saying that if you declare a value below the threshold, the system will reject it automatically. We wanted to do that with Asikuda Post.
It was not possible, but it's possible with this one.
I'm so happy that
no, it's possible with this one.
You remember the story when we realized that the reference values were no longer, because these things can change over time. Prices are not static. Some of these fundamentals, they are dynamic. They change over time. So we thought that we are losing the revise. Maybe you can complete the story when they are going to the president.
Oh, yeah. You know what happened naturally? Some of them think they're smart, business people. So they will bring a container and give us a very small value. The containers are value based on 3 things: cost, insurance, and freight. The cost of the container. If you get all that now, you bring in a 24. You bring in a cost like $3,000. So you think we are mad? So we sat down, we put those perspectives. We put a minimum cost of 5,000 for cost. We put a minimum of 3,000 for the freight. We put insurance maybe 50. So we have a total of let's say 750. Minimum acceptable value for a container. Now, if you give us $10,000, no problem. We happily accept it. We will value you based on that. But if you don't give us, we will not give you below 7,500. So, across the board, because they were paying less, when we introduced that, those who were paying 50,000 per container now has to go around 130,000.
Yes.
A group of them, they ran to the president. In fact, they ran to the former minister. The minister told them, no. This is an operational matter. The next day they went to the president. But before they got to the president, I had a discussion with the president. I told the president everything. So the technicalities and everything, just like I'm explaining. So he also sat down and waited for them. So the first group that went there, they explain, they even bring their past entries. And they call them, this is what this man wants to do. So he listened after everything, said, okay, can I have that? Or can I have that? Now, I will talk to the city. I want you to go and bring me your original invoice. And I will take everything and give it to the commission. The representative of the surrounding the president. Very small. You have group. The surrounding so the man told them, no problem. Give me your original invoice. And this thing, I will call the man and give him, look at it, say, no. Stop there. Let's get back our paper. We are all thieves. So stop it there. Don't call him. So the news went out like that. And then all of them start complying.
I went to State House and the president was telling me that. I received your people.
That's true. So time we will also adjust these values based on the reality. Now that the freight is increased and the costs are increased, so we do have our minimum values like 8,500 for a 20-footer now. We know that is very low. Nobody can get a good original goods from Europe or America. You pay 8,000. It's not possible. No matter what kind of good it is. But what we do, we know this is a third world country, and we don't really want people to pay too much. So we give them a reasonable amount to pay, so that at the end of the day, they will not put too much cost in the society. But as time goes on, maybe 1 year or 2 we adjust that a little. Instead of 8,500, we may bring up, make it 9,000 or 9,500. And whenever we start that, the clearing agents are here, they're hearing me. They will make a big noise. You will see them now, they will come and knock at your door. No, what he is doing that, but just tell them to bring their original. They don't know it. We never want to use that value. That is just a backup. Because you have to get a backup. Otherwise, they will give you all kind of values. So we use that as a backup in the system. But what preferably, everybody give us their invoice. When you give us your invoice, we are happy. If it is reasonable amount, we are happy to accept that anew, because that is why it's called self-assessment. And then this as a Kuda Plus us make it more easier. If you bring your original document, you can do everything and you pay and go and receive your goods.
And in addition to that, for our light taxpayers, we have made it mandatory that they must all submit audited accounts. Those that are audited by external auditors who have the expertise and the professionalism. So those are the only ones that they will accept. In other words, they will self-assess, but then it will come with accounts that are also audited by external auditors, just to give greater assurance. So that in addition to whatever we are going to do internally, at least that's where the bulk of our revenues are going to come from. So they have to make sure that they conform all standards, not only just bring in papers. External auditors have to certify that the accounts are correct and they reflect whatever they pay is a true reflection of their business.
So we have kind of divide to make the work easier for us ourselves. The internal revenue, domestic revenue, we divide the businesses into two sections. LTU is the land taxpayers unit, and the headquarters there is Canify. So these are businesses that are registered and they keep record, proper record. That's what like the banks, the big businesses. So now we are requesting that instead of just giving us a turnover, we are assessing on that. We say no, we must go to an audit. You have to audit farm, the audit farmers to do and they will bring this back. So life becomes easy. If your audit account is prepared by an audit firm, in most cases it's properly done. Now where we have problem is the fight between small and medium. That is the manpower people. those are in the informal sector. Some of them, they don't want to register, they don't want to keep records, so they keep, people keep running after them here and there. So that is where the problem is, and it's all over Africa. Every informal sector. Some of them don't want to, they don't even have a location. They just want to do business here and there, here and there. So but we try to manage with them in a sense that we try to create like a flat rate. If you are in this kind of service, you say, okay, pay $10,000 the whole year. And then once you pay that, that is your income tax. Now you can do your business freely. We try to work with them. It's not easy, but we try to work with them. So we can basically we have more time. Definitely have more time. Just maybe
sharing few things. But I'm sure maybe we also have time to come and then proper briefing in terms of our entire operations.
Yes, sir. I can see that your office is very comfortable.
I'm not seeing any. Okay, good. Thank you.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sure what I'm doing. I'm fine. I'm not